Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Beach FM, we say good morning to the chair of the Paekakariki Community Board, Phillip Edwards. Good morning, Phillip.
Good morning. My apologies for last week, Nigel, and not being available at the time.
You're a busy boy.
The thing that I was going to start with this morning is that yesterday, with the weather the way it was rubbish day in Paekakariki. And of course, with our bins not being picked up till later in the afternoon, the bins were being blown everywhere, rubbish was everywhere. And it brought a debate amongst some of us. Whose job is it to pick up the rubbish that's spread around the streets?
Oh.
Like the contractors, certainly with all their mechanical trucks these days, they just stop beside the curb, lift the rubbish bin and empty it, and then put it back down. But with all the bins being blown around all over the place, and them being contracted, is it the job today of the council and the workers who work out of the depot and operations to walk the streets of places and pick up the rubbish?
Oh, that's a good point. So when are you going to resolve that one, Phillip?
Well, it certainly needs to be discussed. You know, we weren't the only place. It was all over the coast yesterday that had bins, apparently. But, you know, it's a discussion that needs to be held. We contract out the rubbish at the council, and you would say then that the rubbish should be collected by, you know, the contractors. And if it's blown all over the road, as in some cases it was yesterday, it's disappointing.
Mind you, I can understand.
I went for a drive about 4:30 yesterday around Paekakariki, and I reckon that if I'd stopped at every place I'd seen rubbish, I'd have picked up at least 10 bagfuls of rubbish, you know, that had just blown onto bins and in little corners and left in gutters and stuff like that. So,
but I can understand the drivers.
Bring it up with the council on Thursday.
But I can understand, Phillip, that it wouldn't be the driver's job, would it?
Even the council responsibility.
Yeah, but I can understand it wouldn't be the driver's job to do that, would it? Because they're not contracted to pick up rubbish off the streets and that, even though it's blown out of the bins.
Yeah, and what is the answer?
Well, I think it's most probably back to the people whose bins are blown over.
And so it's my job to go and pick out, because they tell us they have the rubbish bin out by 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, yeah.
And they don't pick it up till 4 o'clock. I own everything until, even though it might be spread all around the place. It's an interesting discussion, eh?
Oh, I'm sure it is. And, of course, you can't have it just lying there. So somebody's got to go out today and pick it up, have they?
Well, I presume so, yeah.
Right. Otherwise, Paekak's going to look a mess.
Well, yeah, and anywhere. Well, it does. You know, you're proud of the place you live in, and it's great to see it looking good. And, you know, let's hope people just don't leave it where, you know, the rubbish is there.
Right. Now, last week you were busy at a meeting, and is it something to do with the seawall? You got your final okay for it, did you?
No. It was just a catch-up work for me on the seawall with Haig, who's the engineer in charge of it there. But the next thing I was going to talk about was St Peter's Hall Village Centennial.
Oh, yes.
Which was on the weekend, and that was just absolutely magnificent there. You know, with all the displays around the place. To the ceremony at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, which was held there, and speeches were given by the MPs and Graham Coe and the Mayor, and just little short speeches about Paekakariki and its history. And it was followed by half an hour of singing, where most of the songs had a Paekakariki input in them, either from history being written or the schools kapahaka songs written by people. And it was led by John Trimmer and Drew Hyman, and everybody, the 150 people there, had a little sing-along, and everyone joined in. There was a songbook handed out, and it was really fun.
Oh, good on you. All right. Well, it's got another 100 years to go before you have the next celebration, has it?
Yes. And like it was passed over to the children that were there, and said, it's your job now to look after this place, make sure it develops, keeps going, and so, in the next period of time, it'll be there. Songs written by Ken Avery were sung, and which had to do with Paekakariki and all things like that.
Sure.
It's something that I'm not normally interested in that much, sing-alongs and stuff, but it was fun to be there and told.
All right. Well, Paekakariki's still living. That's the most important thing after the storm. So we'll talk to you again next week then, Phillip.
Yes. Thank you, Nigel.
That's a pleasure. Phillip Edwards.
106.3 Beach FM.